All right, guys. Well, I'm down at the range today with the Rock Island Armory 14Y, a youth model 22 that's magazine fed, bolt action with a threaded barrel. This was very interesting because it was one of the cheapest I've ever seen, and I grabbed this at a pawn shop challenge, in particular the Christmas pawn shop challenge we just did a few days ago. If you watched the video, then you saw this shoot for the first time, but I wanted to put a quiet device on the end of it and give it a try. Again, it was about $130, and for that price, it's fairly ergonomic. It's been pretty reliable, but I wanted to see how quiet it was and then really go over it just a little bit more down at the range today for this infield kind of overview of the rifle. Right off the bat, the action itself is fairly smooth, not the smoothest I've ever felt on a 22 by any means, but again, we are talking about a $130 rifle. Now, it is compact and nimble because of the youth model, but it's still perfectly functional for a full-size human being to operate and utilize down at the range. The leaf sights themselves are adjustable for elevation, and the hooded front sight post is raised enough for most quiet devices to clear right over the top, so it's very functional. Now, this does have a dovetail mount at the top if you wanted to do some type of optic, but honestly, this is going to be a little iron sights varmint getter for me, so let's take some of the shots with CCI standard velocity. That's quiet. No need for hearing protection. You can hear the steel ringing in the background. That is absolutely awesome. And it is so just nimble and handy. I can't stress that enough. To remove the mag, you actually have to reach in front of the trigger guard, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it works halfway decent. With gloved fingers, it's going to be difficult. To load the mags, it's more of a rough Parkerized finish, and it's pretty okay as well. Again, nothing to write home about, but nothing super negative. It just kind of works all around, and it is such a joy to shoot. Let's load up some more and keep plinking. So you can hear the sound differences between shooting into the dirt and shooting at the steel. The quiet device does an amazing job because this is a closed breech action, meaning all the gases travel down the barrel before it unlocks and allows it to expand out here. So unlike a semi-auto, something like this is going to be even quieter. So it works, it functions, and there's really been no issues other than it's not maybe the smoothest action I've ever felt. And sometimes when you load the mag up with the 9 to 10 rounds you can squeeze in there, that first round loading can be a little bit difficult. You got to give it a little bit more oomph. But if you load it up with 8, it just runs smooth, and I'm sure that magazine spring will work itself in. Also, probably need to add just a little bit of oil to the action. Put a drop on it when we first got it, but it's a little bit dry, so we may do some of that to help free it up. But I can highly recommend this rifle, whether it be for youth purposes or just somebody who wants a practical threaded bolt action 22 that doesn't want to break the bank. There are other models out there from other companies, like some of the Savage 22s with heavier profile barrels, smoother actions, and pick rails for precision optics, but they're going to be a little bit over $200. If you want something that was just going to be a dedicated iron sight rifle, I don't see how you could go wrong with something like this, unless maybe you're like 6'5" with massive arms, and this might be just a little bit too small for you. So I hope you guys liked the video, and if you missed that pawn shop challenge where Brett, my cameraman, and I go out and find interesting guns, you'll definitely want to check it out because there were many more we grabbed that day, as well as a few other interesting finds that weren't necessarily firearms, but made for some fun video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.